Ladies and gentlemen, Psalms 34 verse 2 says, "My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad." The humble. It's such a wonderful thing to be able to praise God. But praising God, it's not just in a word, man. It's in actually living. And if you're humble, you get that extra desire to praise God, extra desire to live the way of love. So let's do that today. What do you say? It's not too late. Roberto Duran said Canelo beat Golovkin, and he may KO him in the rematch, according to BoxingScene.com editor Miguel Rivera, who conducted, or at least covers, the interview. This is what Duran had to say. "The rematch is coming. He, which is Canelo, already got to know him, which is GGG, and he's going to look better in the rematch. And I think that he might even knock him out." You can read the rest of the article through BoxingScene.com. Another former world champion, Rosendo Alvarez, agreed with Duran's prediction. Canelo will win. Canelo already knows that he can take GGG's punch, and Golovkin is a fighter who has many deficiencies when attacking. His attacks are not very effective. He misses a lot of punches. He has power, but the power is overcome with intelligence. And Canelo fought the recent fight in a very smart manner. He just needed to press a little more to take the victory. So, this is what these two really, by the way, Rosendo Alvarez faced Genaro Hernandez and gave him a draw. Genaro Hernandez beat him in the rematch, but the point is, Rosendo Alvarez was a very good fighter from, if I'm not mistaken, the same place where Duran comes from, if I'm not mistaken, Panama. He's not a Panamanian fighter. He's either from Nicaragua or somewhere like that. Now, in response to this, Ring TV interviewed Gennady Golovkin. And Gennady Golovkin said, people are not believing in the propaganda, and if Canelo did win that fight, they would never have given the fight a draw. He said Canelo had all the people on his side who were in high positions. He's talking about Golden Boy, I guess. The thing about it is, when I think about it and I critically assess what Gennady Golovkin is saying, Gennady Golovkin is behaving as if he's somehow an unfavored guy. He's the underdog. He's the guy nobody wants to see win. He's not the guy that HBO is backing. He's not the guy that so many people are dying to see become the best. Now, why I say that is because the Ring TV is owned by Golden Boy's Oscar De La Hoya. So it wouldn't be in Oscar's best interest to have Gennady Golovkin, for instance, be the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. He would want his fighter, which is Canelo Alvarez, to be the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. And given Canelo Alvarez got a draw with Gennady Golovkin, and given the caliber of opposition that Canelo Alvarez has, which is highly superior to anything that Gennady Golovkin has faced so far, it is somewhat amazing that Gennady Golovkin is pound-for-pound #1 in the world. If Gennady Golovkin's argument is true, he shouldn't be pound-for-pound #1 in the world. The system should be against him. He's trying to make a claim like what Guillermo Rigondeaux was making with Vasily Lomachenko. The difference is sanctioning bodies are actually sanctioning against Guillermo Rigondeaux, whereas no one's sanctioning against and no one's judging against Gennady Golovkin. Right? He got a draw in a fight where I thought Canelo clearly won, and Canelo actually should have gotten that win. But I'm not saying no. I'm just saying based on his argument. If his argument is that if Canelo definitely beat him, he would have gotten the win because everything was in his favor, then Gennady Golovkin, following that through with the same people involved in the Ring TV, Gennady Golovkin shouldn't be pound-for-pound #1. It should be Canelo. They should be backing Canelo. Everybody knows HBO is backing Golovkin. Everybody knows that the commissions and all of these other people that are put there, they do their jobs. But at the end of the day, the entire media was backing Golovkin. Most people wanted to see Golovkin stop Canelo. It didn't happen. Now, I'm not saying Canelo won the fight because he wasn't stopped. I'm saying Canelo won the fight because he was landing all the power punches in the fight. All the power punches. Gennady Golovkin saying he outpointed Canelo. No, you didn't, buddy. You didn't outpoint him either. A lot of your shots that people claim, all of your so-called jabs, your probing jabs that people claim you landed, they didn't hit Canelo as frequently as people were claiming, and even as punch stats are claiming. Now, another thing that Gennady Golovkin said in this interview, which was very interesting to me, is that he said that he had a bad night, but he would come back stronger and better. Now, why would you say you have a bad night against Canelo after you say you win the fight? So you had a bad night because he was missing like crazy, but for some reason you won? You conceded you had a bad night in that interview, but you won? I'm just saying. Now, another thing people say is that Gennady Golovkin, he's the champion. When he, and Canelo Alvarez had to beat the champion to become the champion. And I think a lot of people, I'm just going to use Ring TV again, because Ring TV, by the way, they favor Gennady Golovkin, right? The guy interviewing Golovkin, he favored him too. Doggy Fisher favored Gennady Golovkin to win. All right, so a lot of people favor Gennady Golovkin to win. You got to ask yourself, why couldn't Golovkin knock out Canelo Alvarez? Why do you think that the judges had the fight scored close? Why is it there's so many different people saying the fight was scored close? It was a close fight. Who made it a close fight? Canelo. But let's go to the middleweight division. So everybody's saying Gennady Golovkin is the champion. And everyone overlooks the fact, even though Canelo was stripped of the WBC title and given to Gennady Golovkin, people forget Canelo is the lineal champion. That's why he has the Ring TV middleweight championship belt. Gennady Golovkin is not the lineal champion. He has 3 of the 4 belts. He's the man of the division, but he's not the lineal champion. So it's 2 champions facing off against each other. So therefore you can't tell me you have to beat the champion, because if that's the case, then they have to beat each other. If Adonis Stevenson was to face Sergey Kovalev, they said, Adonis Stevenson ducked. Sergey Kovalev was the man of the division, but that doesn't make him the champion of the division. The champion of the division was shared by both guys. Adonis Stevenson was a lineal champion, and Sergey Kovalev was the guy with the most belts. So it's very important to understand the difference between the man of the division and a guy being a champion, a guy not being a champion. Canelo was the rightful lineal champion. He beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. He's the true champion of the division in a way. Not really, but he's sort of. Gennady Golovkin, he got a lot of belts. One of the belts he got from Canelo, he shouldn't have gotten, because he didn't fight Canelo for it. He just got it. He really has 2 belts. And Canelo's coming back to get all of his belts in the rematch. But the point is, this excuse about Canelo has to beat the champion as if Canelo's not a champion is stupid. Alright? So I just wanted to bring some clarification to that and the interview that Gennady Golovkin had. Because again, I see a lot of media out there, and they're still going with the narrative in spite of all the information out there. And Gennady Golovkin, he's talking in Russian and stuff to convince his Russian people probably that he won the fight. Talking about propaganda out there and bullshit. Look, if you want to argue your point with facts. Don't come talking bullshit like propaganda and stuff. If you say that you know boxing, because a lot of these casuals don't know shit about boxing. If you say that the people who support you know boxing, then argue your points about boxing. Because if you know your boxing, you would know that your dumb ass was supposed to get Canelo out of there. You came in like a killer. You did nothing. You showed you was tough. You could take punches. But you did nothing, Gennady Golovkin. You know that. Because what did you say at the end of the fight? Oh, I got all my belts still. I still have my belts. And you said it in the interview that you had a bad night. You said that. So you know damn well you should have lost that fight. You know it. You know it. And you don't want the rematch. You talking all about you want rematch and who else and that. You don't want the rematch. Fess up. Because you know you're going to get beat even worse. You could go to Russia. You could steroid up if you had to. You're going to get outbeaten. The next fight is not going to be like the first. Canelo's training right now. All he wants is your ass. I'm just saying. You guys have a great one.